B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a six emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight. Visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite. From the pages to the beats, a seamless blend. The sixth element, where two worlds transcend. Welcome to the sixth element show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the sixth element show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What up, man? Six Element in the hip. Yes, sir. Six Element hip hop in the building. It's your host, Reno Noir. Stu Dog in the house. What up, man? All right, just let me know.
What up?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Bati. What up in the chat? Salute to Corey Adger in the building. Yes, sir.
Corey
Thank
Adger.
you, sir. My dog, my homie right there. Corey. Yeah, man. It's crazy shit. So recently we had a show where we talked about the fact that Lenny Panzika was leaving Hasbro. He's the main designer for G.I. Joe Classified. Well, today we got the bombshell news that the other guy who does the designing at G.I. Joe Classified, named Tony, is also leaving. EGC, what up, man?
Well, we know what that means. The shit is thinking. Know what that means.
So, Crimson, I mean, you know, here's what I believe. Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get deep into it. But I think, honestly, bro, in a nutshell, that possibly Hasbro is getting out of the action figure game. They're getting into the digital game, and we're starting to see, you know, the writing on the wall, and it is what it is. But, you know, I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point. But as far as Classified goes, they did it all. Like, if Classified ended today, with keeping in mind the stuff that's been revealed already, the stuff that's coming for the rest of this year and for 2027, we've got a bunch of stuff announced. We've seen digital renders and the name reveals. So if everything from there, you know, from the name reveals is it, if that was it, what else do we need? Like, I need version 4 Snake Eyes. I need Dress Blues Gung Ho. I need a hooded Cobra Commander. But here's the thing. I don't know if they ever could make the version 4 Snake Eyes because of the butterfly knives. Maybe they couldn't figure out a good way to make them stick on there and make it look good, whatever. And then the Dress Blues Gung Ho. There may be some rule or law or something, reason why they can't do it, from what I understood, because of the uniform. I don't know. And then the Cobra Commander thing, whether they do it or not, we've all found workarounds and made our own hooded Cobra Commanders. So not a big deal there either. Paul Morales, what up?
Yeah, but they could have put a Cobra Commander from the grip the right way. And we never got a retro card back. Never got a retro card back Cobra Commander. A hooded retro card back.
Say what, man?
We never got a hooded retro card back Cobra Commander.
Yeah, no, we never got any hooded Cobra Commander whatsoever.
I thought the one with the first one that came, I thought he was hooded, or no?
No, bro. That, can you believe it? There's never been a hooded Cobra Commander.
Oh no, you. I was about to cuss. I had to stop myself. I was about to cuss.
I'm telling you, they've never done it.
I know you.
They said that it would be that it would bring to mind racist connotations from the clan hood.
Nobody care about that. Ain't nobody ever cared about that.
And here's the thing, yeah. Hey, come on, bro. This clan hood, as far as I knew, it was white and it was had a point on top. What Cobra Commander is wearing is an executioner's hood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing related to whatsoever. But
man, listen, man, we got America. We got to stop. Okay, stop all this. It will remind us of this, or it would be racial. You want to talk about racial? Come on, stop it. We got that going on every day. The president we elected reflects America's racial position.
We worrying about
like stop. Stop. Why you Yeah, why are you worried about stuff that never meant anything like that to nobody? The Punisher symbol.
Huge point of contention.
Come on.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's just an excuse not to make it or do it or whatever. Stop it. Everybody get out their feelings and stop it. If we could have made it back in the 80s and it was okay, what's the problem now? No parents had protests. No parent. You know the one figure parents protested about and they still put it out. Nobody cared. He-Man. Parents protested about He-Man. Christian groups protested about He-Man. And you know what they protested? The fact that he said, I have the power.
Right.
He's the most powerful man in the universe.
I remember
Christian, Christian, they went ballistic over that.
Satanic Panic era.
Yeah, but they never went ballistic over anything G.I. Joe put out. So stop. That's lame. That's lame. I don't want to. So the ship is sinking, but I'm not gonna say it's sinking. I will say this: when you look at today's demographic, the young guys, they look. I was just in GameStop today talking to one of the managers, and she was saying that trying to hire somebody for the position of working in GameStop is difficult because she was saying that all the kids that come in there, they look like basement dwellers or nerds, and they want to, and she said they look like basement dwelling nerds that don't get no sunlight, that don't come out, and she was like,
that's not gonna be a good salesperson.
Right, and she said they want to demand where they want to work, what they want to work, how much they want to work, and how much they don't want to work, and they don't want to work weekends, and they don't want to work Tuesdays, and then she was like, I can't find anybody to hire. So with Hasbro, the problem that they're having is this basement dwelling teenager that don't want to get no sunlight doesn't want to play with something like this. They don't want to play with this. They don't want to display it. They don't want to play with it. Like Reno always says, this is for us. This is Gen X. This is how we get down.
Still got his swamp here.
Man, sure. Now, if you look in the background right there, who do you think that is in the back right there?
What, talking about getting blown off the thing?
Yeah, getting blown off.
That's Monkey Wrench.
that looks dope, man. I like that.
Hell yeah.
I wish I can get more. I wish they would just sell these skiers by themselves. I'd buy like 5 of them. But you gotta understand they don't want to play with that. So Hasbro has to make a decision. Do we keep making this? And do we keep making this? Or do we go digital? And we just put out these digital cards and these digital games that these kids are going for and that they collect. I play Destiny and I'm gonna keep it a buck.
This the one I'm getting, bro.
Yo, that one is hard. That's harder than the one
I passed on the classified one, and I'm getting this one. And this is from my homie. This is from Mark II Designs, and it's a 1-to-1 replica of the '80s Swamp Skier.
That's dope.
Because that Swamp Skier they gave us for classified, but
what was he selling for? Because I would love one of those for my Zartan.
I know, right? That's what I'm getting mine. I can't say exactly what he's selling for. I'm not sure, but he is going to be on our show Wednesday, the 20th. So mark your calendars, guys. Wednesday the 20th. It's going to be Mark II Designs, Tony's Customs, Shark-Eyed Reviews, and Jersey Maniac. All going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about Hasbro versus indie figures, the quality, IPs versus unknown figures, characters, the quality differences, why you're seeing better here and worse here, and all that good stuff. It's going to be an amazing show. So definitely mark your calendars.
Yeah, so these young kids nowadays, they want to and the reason why I told you the story about the GameStop is because the demographics of these kids that are coming out, that's what they want. They want digital items mean a lot more to them than a physical item. For some odd reason. You might not be able to touch it, you might not be able to smell it or whatever. But digital things and cards. And people are in the cards. While I was in there, a guy came in and bought $190 worth of cards. So
Jesus. What do you think about this guy?
Crimson Cobra Commander.
Yeah, he said, do you think
will get the classified Hasbro? Absolutely.
You think so? You really do?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody will make it. It's not going to be as good of a figure as we're getting.
I think because Hasbro's always made G.I. Joe. Hasbro owns G.I. Joe. So when they're done making classes, it's not like someone else can pick up G.I. Joe. Hasbro owns it. Now, if they sell G.I. Joe,
well, Yeah, you're right. You know, but
Studios.
you're right, and I'm gonna tell you why. You're right, and I'm gonna tell you why. You got to sell it. So if you want the GI Joe IP, you're gonna have to buy it. When
Yeah.
Toys R Us went out of business, all the toy makers got together and was like, "We'll buy that," and they were putting their money together to get it. And the children said no, it wasn't enough. But what the children didn't realize is the companies were taking on their debt and everything else that came with it to keep Toys R Us in business. And that's the problem. If you get rid of, if they're gonna have to sell GI Joe to somebody, maybe the people who make Super 7 or something like that, they might do it. They might
Super
buy
7. Well, the thing is like we know Haya Toys makes GI Joe. Super 7 makes GI Joe. We know that other companies have the right or the ability, the okay to go ahead to make GI Joe figures. Like Super 7, they don't own the IP. That's why they can only do kind of what Hasbro tells them they can do. They're doing the cartoon versions of stuff, which Hasbro's generally doing the toy versions of stuff and vice versa. So, but Hasbro, anytime they want, they can go ahead and do the cartoon versions that Super 7 is doing because they still own the overall GI Joe rights. So, yeah, they can suss it out, source it out, but they'll still own it in the end. And I agree that with Kaz, man, it's too big. Like, and GI Joe's not getting smaller, guys.
No,
just because
at no point. No,
if Hasbro's on if Hasbro's on the way out, if Classified's on the way out, if GI Joe figures are on the way out, GI Joe as an IP is going. So the figures are always going to be made because we've got the Transformers crossover movie coming out. We'll have after that there'll be GI Joe standalone GI Joe movies. So all that's coming down the road. And
I really think
4-inch they could focus on the higher price Synthix. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they wanted to do toys, so they let Super 7 do cartoons. They wanted to do 6-inch, so they let Haya do 4-inch. But if somebody else wants to do 6-inch toys, right, then yeah, they'd have to get. Only Hasbro can do that right now.
I really think it's not going anywhere. I think they'll probably put together a new team, and then this new, and we'll see what this new team does. I mean, it's happened before. And it's not like it's not like it's gonna happen again. So right now, I mean, people leaving. If Lenny left, his partner's gonna, and then other people are gonna just trickle out. It's like in football. You get a new head coach, everybody leaves, and the head coach has to bring on new people.
I wasn't surprised. Like,
it's the same thing.
I figured he would go with his homie.
But in a way, now that I did a little research, and we were talking the other day about the CID GI Joe. That's all Lenny was doing. He was bringing out all the figures from the CID GI Joe. And when I was watching that cartoon, I was like, wait a minute. Every character on this joint is what they put out. Not Real American Hero, CID. And now, and to me, I was
you mean DIC? You mean
DIC? Yeah, DIC.
Deke. It's called Deke and Sunbow. So Sunbow made the original '80s. Deke made the '90s one, and yeah, Lenny must have been a fan of Deke.
He had to be. Because every character on Deke is the ones that he came out. All the Snake Eyes.
Look down under.
All the Snake Eyes that he came out with on Deke. Zartan. Everybody. I was like, damn, he didn't miss a figure on this cartoon.
Yeah, he went right to the Naga High and characters like that.
Yes,
characters
everybody
that are big in Deke is who he went to. So
they look like him. And they look like him.
Yes. So you know, Lenny, I want to say, because we did the other video, and I know people kind of took it like I was saying Lenny's designs were whack or Lenny was whack or whatever. Not at all. What I was saying was that, you know, just because, you know, Lenny had his era. He's a certain age. He had his era, his favorite GI Joes, and that's what he basically made. And all my point was that maybe the next guy will be a little older. Maybe the next guy will be from the 80s. Maybe the next guy will be a Sunbow fan rather than a Deke fan, which would be a good thing for us. And probably more likely that would end up happening than a young guy. But it could go either way. It totally could go either way. We could get a guy way younger than Lenny who wasn't even around for the Deke show. Might have been just around for the 25th anniversary. Might have been a bit later, like a comic fan, something. You never know. Maybe they won't even be a G.I. Joe fan at all, and that would really, really suck. So we never know. When the hoes leave, the pimp get new house.
Yes, sir. That's 100%. That's 100%, Corey Adger. That's best I ever heard it said.
Resolute is gas, and I would love to see it. Like, I mean, we could have Resolute coming out. I would love to do Resolute. Destro,
what if the next team, right? What if the next team was just in the Resolute? They was hard in the Resolute. and they bought all because that Lenny must have been hard in the DIC because that's all it. The design, even the designs of the characters were just like
No, yeah,
the
he was
only
deep.
we only got a few. We got a few. Like he mixed it up. I give him credit for mixing it. We got a few from Yo-Joe. I mean, not Yo-Joe, Real American Hero, and
You
then
don't
the
remember
'90s.
Deep from the 80s, bro?
Deke was in the
That's
90s.
why I know
bro.
it's Deep, because there would be this logo that would come up and it would say Deep.
Yeah, it's a Deke. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were more in the '90s, bro. They
And I used to laugh and go, "Hi, Dick." You know, as a
Yeah.
little kid. Everybody, I think we
Yeah,
all did.
they
You
were
gotta
mostly
remember
from the
Deep, man.
'90s. That I wasn't watching that. That cartoon was so. I don't know, man.
It was more like the
That was-
Ninja Turtles than G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
Remember the Ninja
can't
Turtles cartoon?
I can't. I liked it in Ninja Turtles cartoon. I didn't
Right,
like that.
but it was
G.I.
cool
Joe.
for Ninja Turtles, but you don't want to see G.I. Joes in that style.
Nah, it was too kiddish. Like
Too
it was
kiddish,
just
like
too kiddish, man.
Turtles.
Like
Like, Turtles was
yeah,
kiddish.
like they gave these kiddie speeches and you know
Mhm.
they I don't I guess I got to do the right thing.
The Deke G.I. Joe is of the 90s, but Deke was
It
doing
is the
cartoons
90s.
in the 80s. But Deke
Yeah,
did
Deke
cartoons.
is 90s. Deke is definitely 90s because I know
Deke
I
Joe's is
wasn't watching
90s.
it in. Yeah, I ain't
Yeah.
watch it in the 90s. I hated
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I watched a couple episodes. I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. And then
Shout out to
Resident
NWA Pollywood. He said, pretty solid indicator for where the line is heading will happen this summer when we find out what or if we are getting a G.I. Joe HasLab, right? So we know when the snowcat comes, we should be, by that time, we should already have that next HasLab, because they always make you pay for that next one before you even get the one you already paid for, which kind of sucks. And I don't like, but it is what it is. That's the only way you're getting them.
No,
Nobody wants to buy a HasLab aftermarket. Don't do it to yourself.
What was what's the name of the chick that was there? Is she leaving too? What was the girl that was there with them?
Oh, she already left. She left before Lenny.
Get out,
bro. The team has gone. Like that's it. And here's the thing. He said we never got Deke over here. Only like Sumbo episodes. They're only available on VHS. Oh yeah, down in Australia. Yeah, and even in the UK and stuff, it was called Action Force, not GI Joe. Which it's weird too, because there's also an Action Force here, but it's different characters. Bobby Vala owns it at this point, working with it. He said, "Okay, brother, I'm gone now. We might not have Yojo June, right?" So Emily was the woman that you're talking about, and yeah, I mean, this was the last time we will ever see Lenny and Tony on a fan stream. This was the last fan stream last month, and that was it. That's it. That's the end of it. Homie was like, boom. They boned out together. They already had it planned, but they didn't want to leave at the same time. So, and everybody keeps treating these Hasbro stories like little separate incidents. Oh, Lenny left. Oh, Tony left. Oh, Hasbro's moving his headquarters. Oh, they licensed Power Rangers out. But you stop looking at these things individually and back the camera up a bit, and it starts looking like a company that's completely transforming itself. And for long-time collectors, especially action figure collectors, it feels less like evolution and more like we're watching the end of an era happen in real time. Because, being honest, the version of Hasbro that most people grew up with was built on toys. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Marvel Legends, Star Wars. Entire generations, walked through toy aisles seeing that Hasbro logo stamped on childhood memories.
Yeah, they had their own aisle in Toys R Us. You go in Toys R Us, the whole aisle just was Hasbro. You would go in there.
Plastic crack on Toys R Us. But now the company doesn't really seem interested in being the toy company anymore. Like, they want to be a gaming empire, a digital entertainment company, an IP management machine.
It's just cheaper.
Toys are starting to feel like secondary business. Like, toys are secondary to their main attraction.
It's cheaper for them, I mean, not to cut you off or anything, but it's just cheaper for them.
No,
and I'm not taking up for them. I'm just saying, if you just look at the world and what's going on, and this is crazy, and I know a lot of people don't really think about this, but with the Straight Heart moves being blocked off and everything, toys are made from plastic, and plastic is made from petroleum products and things like that, and oil and all. It's getting more expensive to produce them, and they don't know at this point. They don't know how long this is going to go on, and these costs are going to go up. And I said it here before, and I'm gonna say it again. But the McFarlane figures, they used to be like $25. Reno said it the best.
Yeah.
For what you got for $25 and a little bit of shipping, which was like $3, $4. like $30 for a figure. It wasn't bad. It was actually really good. Now it's $50 a figure with shipping and taxes and tariffs. And it's like, you got to get more selective. Do I really want to buy this? Do I really need this? I'm only going to get what I need. And then we're talking about quality of figures. Said that earlier. We're going to talk about that Wednesday. I mean, come on. You got to listen. It's a rough business if the world gets rough. So I get it. I really do.
Check him out. He said their planning sucked. They really should have had media or something to promote the toy in tandem. Remember, we had the G.I. Joe cartoon, which was Sunbow, the Sunbow version. That's what sold G.I. Joe. Transformers cartoon sold Transformers. The He-Man cartoon sold He-Man figures. Right? Those cartoons in the 80s were made with the intention not of telling a story, not of being a great, of selling toys. They were big long commercials. That's all they were, just to get kids hyped up about the characters. They would always introduce a new vehicle or whatever as soon as it came out on the shelf. I mean, it was not by mistake. It was definitely so. Shout out to Jay Combs. He's right. Wouldn't it have been dope? Like, we did get the Energon comics, but wouldn't it have been dope to have a dope animated series come out on fucking Amazon or something, bro? Like Invincible, but only good.
Reno, and it's so wide open nowadays. Hasbro got their own channel on YouTube. They could just put it out on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And that'll cost them next to nothing. That'll cost them next to nothing. I mean, when there's nothing to watch on TV, or I'm looking at I'll always go to the Hasbro live stream and just sit there and watch G.I. Joe and Transformers. No lie, the stuff from the 80s.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I was just watching the He-Man joint the other day because it's all on YouTube. You can watch all. For those of you who lived in Australia or Canada or whatever, you couldn't see you can go on Hasbro's YouTube and watch every single episode of G.I. Joe. You can go watch every single episode of He-Man wherever they got that on the Mattel joint. And but G.I. Joe made them relevant in the first place. Like, G.I. Joe is Hasbro's fucking, like, you can't.
That's their bread and butter. Yeah, that was their bread and butter for a long time. And even, like you said, even He-Man. And just watching them, I own them on disc. I bought the discs. They went on sale for like $30 at not Best Buy, at Walmart, and I went and scooped up the whole thing.
Right. Now it's showing Crimson Cobra Commander. NWA Pollywood said he subscribed to Crimson Cobra Commander. Go check out Crimson Cobra Commander's channel. Make sure you sub and like his videos, man. And it's up to the shareholders. Digital things don't make good birthday presents or Christmas presents. Hasbro will stick with physical toys for a while longer. Well, let me ask you this, Josh B. Do you have kids? How old are you, and how old are your kids? Because in my experience, kids don't want plastic toys anymore.
He might have raised his kids different.
They want a device. Well, yeah, I mean, if you raise your kids without devices, bravo to you. I don't know how you're doing it, how they're surviving, and how they're coping socially. But I know, I tried it, but it just, in this day and age, you really can't. Like, it's just, I don't know. It'd be very, I don't know. But I mean, if that's what you mean, then yeah. But honestly, the masses, it's not about individuals. It's not about you or I or what we would do, right, Stu? It's not about what he does with his kids. I mean, in general, kids in America don't want plastic toys. They want iPhones. They want Switches. They want video games.
Yeah, they want iPads. And they want,
devices.
Yeah, they want 40-inch TVs. And they go with their PlayStations and their Xboxes. So.
And that's not maybe what you or I would think, but that's what Hasbro thinks. And that's fucked up. And it's not great for us because we would just prefer them to stay in the action figure business, honestly, obviously.
But it's like I said earlier. Well, these guys don't get no sun.
Yeah,
they love anything digital. They love anything digital. Like I said, playing Destiny, the digital content in the store, guys spend loads of money in there. Marvel Rivals. That's what a big complaint was about in the early part of this century, was that they were coming out with these free-to-play games. And you could play the game for free, but if you wanted more powers, costumes, better swords, better equipment, you had to pay for it. It's behind a paywall. And then they would complain about the pay to win, where you could get the better gear and you'd be well more equipped than the other guy. I mean, they were dumping load. Listen, even the Android games. Why do you think the Android market is like it is? Because everything's behind a paywall. I mean, you could play the games for free. But to get better, you got to pay for it. You know, it's $3, $2, $1.50. You times that by 1,000,000 people, you tell me.
Some bank, but no, and I'm with you guys. Listen, I'm with y'all. I mean, I don't know who would admit otherwise. And here's the thing: if you sit your kids down with toys and shit, like my kid plays with action figures because I put action figures in front of him. I didn't put devices in his hand. I didn't. Right?
Yeah.
When he was a little kid. As they get older, they become teens and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, even I wasn't playing with GI Joes as a teen, but as a kid, like, yeah, they would much rather play with something physical and do a physical activity. They'd rather go outside with you and play ball. But what most parents are doing now is they're sitting the kid down with a tablet or a device or putting them in front of the whatever and doing their thing and going in there on their device. And and using it as a babysitter so they can go on their device instead of going outside with their kid, touching some grass, playing ball, whatever the fuck. That's fun. That's what kids really want to do. I mean, come on. But if you teach them, you don't show them that, and they grow up only on devices, they're never going to have the urge to go out and play ball. They're never going to feel that shit. They're never going to, you know what I'm saying? But yes, you limit their screen time, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not talking about you and me and like, you know, us in the know or in the community. We're talking about the masses and the source of Hasbro's main income. See, they can't just live on us alone. And this is a beautiful thing, Cobra Commander. You're right. The HasLab is bank. They're making bank off this shit. Like, that's what's keeping them afloat is us. Do you think people are buying HasLabs for their kids? They're not. No. Listen, who buys $30 action figures for their children? You don't do that. You buy the kid figures that they got in the Walmart on the rack. You don't buy the fucking $30 figures for the kids. You definitely don't buy $300-$400 trucks, you know. No. Because that Snowcat to your kid is the same as a metal Tonka truck in his mind. He's going to treat it the same way. That the classified HasLab will be destroyed day 2, day 1 with most little kids. Gen X is keeping it relevant. It's keeping it alive. You're out?
It's true.
All right,
this is true. And we all know it. Yeah, this is true, and we know it. We know it, and they know it. Yeah, we know it, and they know it.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. My bad. I want to yell at you.
No, I said we know it, and Hasbro knows it. Yeah. So they're gonna have to find another way to make us interested in these GI Joe classified series. Now that everybody's leaving or left.
And no, we didn't have this gadgetry when we was kids. But I wonder, like, if we did, would we have been any different? Like, are we better inherently? Or we would go outside. We didn't have this shit. If that shit was there, most of us would have been on that shit. Because honestly, it's a lot of fun. Tech is a lot of fun. It's amazing to be able to create shit, and then you get the satisfaction of sharing it with other people online, and them giving you the satisfaction back. That shit's addictive to anybody at any age.
But Reno, what was the first thing you did when you got something new?
Well, here, when I was a kid, listen, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a movie director.
No, I get on. I'm just saying, but
I bought a fucking video camera, and I was making little movies.
But check this out. But when you made your movies, what was the first place you pretty much made one?
Oh, in the woods, outside, at the park,
outside,
in the wilderness.
Yep, yeah. So we had tech and all that.
How we were raised.
Yeah, I would go on the wood. I would go to Reno's house and be like, Reno, yo, look what I got. And I'll be like, yo, and you come out and then we'd be messing with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to get too far on that topic, but yeah, like we had Nintendo, we had stuff, and we still did go outdoors. But what I'm saying is we weren't inundated. These kids today, it's everything. It's everywhere. They're inundated. Every human being carries a little fucking computer in their pocket, a laptop, basically.
Cell phone.
Your smartphone is a little computer. Yeah, there's more technology in your smartphone than was in the first rocket to the moon. I mean, and everybody and their brother and little kid has one. So everything is in their face. It's a different world entirely. So, you know, I don't want to go too far, but and not in our minds and not in the way we think as Gen Xers, but in the way Hasbro's business guys are thinking. And this is just coming from the reporting. I'm just reporting here. I'm not giving you my opinion. This is Hasbro's reporting, is that they feel sales of children's plastic toys is down and sales for video games and digital shit for kids is up. So much, in fact, that they are not only they've already made changes. Like, I'm not saying this is my prophecy. They've done this already. They've already made moves to move toward, like, pretty much the only thing they're focusing on is adult toys. Like, if they're staying in toys, it's going to be adult action figures and then video games. That's their perspective. It's all, you can look it up. Transformers prevent the peak user getting what we wanted from those toys. Back in the day, they were posable bricks, probably posable bricks. Nowadays, they're engineering marvels. Yes, they were posable bricks. They were pretty bad. You remember how Megatron looked? He turned him into fucking weird guns.
Remember Optimus?
Yeah,
Optimus was like a.
Our parents wouldn't have put a limit on that. We got beat or punished. Hey, I mean, hey, it's a different world. And you know what's weird? Like, we criticize the Gen Z, but like, aren't we their parents?
Yes, we are.
Isn't it us on us how they are?
Yep.
Like, the next generation it's the way it is because of how the previous generation, laid it out. So maybe we didn't intend for them to be this way. Maybe we thought futurizing everything, and because it's Gen X that invented smartphones and social media and all this shit. We invented this shit.
That's true.
We're the creators, and then you have millennials who are doing the management, and I'm talking in the corporate tech world. Gen Xers are the creators. Your Elon Musk, your Bezos, they're Gen X. And then you have the management is all millennial, and Gen Z is all the worker bees. But we can only criticize so much because we laid this shit out. It's sad but true. And like I said, I don't think it was avoidable. This world has been engineered to be digital, and that comes with a ton of snares and variables. And every generation has always looked to it. I mean, if you go back to H.G. Wells and the Time Machine, bro. I mean, you go back to Greek mythology, Homer. They were talking. They had robots. They had AI. They were already thinking about artificial intelligent robots and androids in Greek times. Okay. This is something humans have always wanted to develop. For whatever reason, it's part of nature. I don't know why. Don't ask me that. What I do know about is toys. And when you look at the money and you understand why corporate leadership is thinking that way, the gaming division is making absurd profits while toys are getting squeezed from every direction imaginable. Manufacturing costs are up. We just talked about oil. Tariffs are brutal. Retail shelf space is shrinking. Collector lines are more expensive to produce, meaning they're more expensive to sell, meaning adults aren't buying expensive ass $50, $60, $100 figures for their children, right? And then meanwhile, we're all taught what up. Meanwhile, games like Monopoly Go, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons are printing money digitally with way higher margins than figure, and way less overhead, way less risk, way less production cost. It's paper, right? And then one side of the company is barely grinding out profits while the other side looks like a money fountain. To executives and stockholders staring at spreadsheets and numbers who couldn't give a flying fuck about a G.I. Joe or any of us, the answer probably feels obvious. And that's why so many collectors are suddenly looking at all these recent moves differently. Power Rangers license going over to Playmates, right? That didn't feel random anymore. That felt like a test balloon, right? Instead of Hasbro carrying out all the manufacturing headaches themselves, another company handles production while Hasbro collects licensing money and keeps the brand alive from a distance. Low overhead, less risk, cleaner profits. Corporate America loves that model. And,
but then it's also too, you gotta remember marketing decisions and things that they brought out. Like they brought out that Tron line. Nobody really messed with it. But nobody asked for it either. And so nobody asked for Tron, but they gave us a whole line of Tron toys and nobody asked for it. There was some other stuff they bought out and nobody asked for it. You keep giving us all these different Optimus Primes, but you just won't give us the ones that we want. You keep giving us a Coronation Starscream, but you won't give us Seeker Starscream.
Right.
You keep giving us. We got like 30 different Bumblebees. And then you keep rehashing. They just brought out Cyclonus. He looks exactly like the other one that came out a few years back. It's just that he has better legs. His legs are better than the last one. But it's the same exact one. You keep redesigning these same Transformers and bringing them out. And now it's to the point where we're like, well, I already got that one. I'm not gonna pay $50 for another one. When I got one that looked pretty much like the one you bought out 4 years ago. I mean, it's those decisions are and those toys that don't sell or they take at a loss.
Right.
So you have to say, well, if I'm bringing out something physical, I gotta make sure it's gonna sell. I make sure people's gonna want it and things like that. And they're not doing that. They're rehashing and thinking we want stuff that we already have. It's just not doing it.
Yeah. Nah, Tristan, man, you know, I'm just fucking with you. Nah, because the AI conversation me and Raw Talk was just having it, and not to segue from what you were saying just now, Stu, because that's true. But we're gonna get into the AI whole that's a whole other conversation, bro. And we'll end up going off on a tangent, bro, and we'll never and it'll be 3 hours later and we'll get back. So
That's
we're gonna
be
get into
another
that.
show.
That is a
Another day. Yeah, that's a whole
Just want
other
to
show.
add to it though. You
Yeah.
gotta understand on the business part of the game, they get government subsidies for certain things. They get a lot of payouts, and all that's drying up across the board for Hollywood, for any entertainment industry, or anything that provides entertainment or influence of entertainment. They get subsidies, and it's drying up now. So now they got to pivot towards the video games and things of that nature, the card games and stuff, and the interactive card games, because that's what it actually is now. So when they pivot that way, you know, we're dinosaurs to them. So they're like, that's an old method that needs to go. Now, one thing they can do is create, and will do, from my understanding, is create a Call of Duty type like G.I. Joe game and another Transformers game as well. They're in the midst.
Well, we just said that. But what that's going to be is, and they probably got something like that in the works. But what that's going to be is a free to play game. That's going to be a free to play game. But if you want Optimus Prime's blaster, you got to pay $3 for it. If you want Snake Eyes, right? If you want Version 3 Snake Eyes skin, you gotta pay $5 for it. If you want Snake Eyes' crossbow, if you want Snake Eyes' crossbow, you gotta pay $3 for it. If you want friendly, if you want Hooded Storm Shadow, gotta pay for it. That's where they're at now, but that's what these kids want. That's how they get down.
And we're gonna obviously get it to see what the game is about, and then get hooked as well, because it still goes back to our that point in our childhood where we wished we had this back then. So now we got it. Now we want to immerse ourselves in it, not knowing that it's a money pit. Regardless, it's a money pit. So that's where it's going. And with the movies and the new cartoon that they're trying to do, the anime-esque type cartoon, they're moving towards that.
And all that shit should have been done before the toy line, or at least at the beginning of it, right? Because imagine how much that would have done for the sales of classified in the whole line if there was an ongoing show or a popular series, like a dope ass Amazon Prime show or fucking Netflix or whatever going on about classified.
I don't think it would change much, because
look at what G.I. Joe the cartoon did for the original line.
Well, that's the original line, and we were the test subjects. We still are the test subjects. So that classified line would definitely be as it is now. That's our collectors, items now.
I think they could have made something like Invincible or something like a new show that new people, new kids would be interested in. Something that would be, and all they'd have to do is make the characters and shit look like the classified design, and voila, you have a commercial. And but it wouldn't. I'm not saying it would create a resurgence or create G.I. Joe's a G.I. Joe new movement or anything like that, but it would have been a lot better than what we got with no marketing whatsoever. If you are not a collector, if you're not in the know, if you weren't on Instagram or in these circles or these communities, how would you know that the shit even came out? You might have saw the thing in Walmart, maybe, if you got lucky. Like, that's not marketing. You got commercials and shows, movies. There was nothing.
Because with classified, when I got into it the first time, I was going to get some Marvel Legends. And on the side of the aisle on the J hook or whatever, I seen these. I'm like, yo, that's Roblox, that's Snake Eyes. I grabbed them all up. I was like, yo. Then I stopped with the with actually truly collecting the legends anymore. I was like, all right, F this. G.I. Joe is on. It's 100% now.
Right. But if you weren't a Legends collector, you wouldn't have been in the aisle that day, and you never would have saw that JPEG.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of
Nah, you right. Because I wasn't a Legends collector. Yeah. The only way I found out about him was there was a guy I worked with, and we both G.I. Joe fans, and we would always, bring in comics and trade them, and talk about G.I. And he bought in one of the classified figures one day. He went to Target on his way to work, and he had like 5 of them. I was like, yo, what are these? I was like, raw talk. I was like, damn, this Snake Eye? Like, hold it. He was like, yo, this new G.I. Joe classified. And then he was trying to get, I forget who, like, it was a wave that came out with, I think it was Gung Ho and them. He was trying to get those. And he was like, he was like, next week, he's like, when I get off work, I'm going to stop by Target on my way home and I'm going to get those. And he was sending me pictures on his phone when he got them. And they were selling out quick then. They were like, people waiting in line. He was showing me pictures of people in line waiting to go in there and get them.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, and what really got off the classifieds, what truly hit them to the next level wasn't that first drop. It was the Cobra Island drop.
The Cobra Island drop.
That came through. We were hunting, fighting in aisles for Cobra Vipers. I mean, I made money off T-shirt. You know, how much is the Viper? Because that's what.
You know why, bro? Because that Viper resembled more like the OG Viper than any previous figures looked like the OG figures. And motherfuckers like, oh, and that sparked them. And then they start making the figures kind of look more like the 80s versions or the 2025th anniversary.
Remember, people asked for that. People people was like, yo, these are dope. Why you can't make them look like the original joints? And they did it.
Because the first Gung Ho, I had it, and I had it on the shelf, and I used to look at it, and I used to be like, man, it just they don't do nothing for me. Like, this just who is that guy? Like, they're telling me that's Gung Ho. Okay, it's Gung Ho.
The Iceman, UFC dude. What's his name? I keep it.
Steve Austin or something? Or no,
Iceman.
Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell. That's who he looked like.
He did look like Chuck Liddell. Yeah, he did.
He damn sure did.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh. But then when
they dropped the Gung Ho with the turquoise and shit, I used to keep coming in the room looking at that shit on the shelf, like, that shit, that's what really made me hype, bro. That's when I started to get deep into it, man. Because
we asked for it, and they gave it to us. We asked for it.
I mean, bro, shout out to Lenny Panzika, bro, because Lenny, for all the complaints that people have about what he did and do and shit, bro, he did bring us this. He did listen
a lot. He
listened to what we said, and he evolved and started giving us looking more retro.
Yeah, we would be remiss if we didn't throw Bobby Valor in there, because he was the one who brought to the management that they should do a 6-inch line while he was doing the Pursuit of Cobra line. So, you know, and I always said the Pursuit of Cobra line was the foundation for the classifieds, because if you compare them side by side, they still have the cues from that Pursuit of Cobra. So, you know, so
it was really obvious when Sci-Fi came out.
Yeah,
he was 1-to-1 Pursuit of Cobra. He looked just like this Pursuit of Cobra figure. But that wave, mainframe, wetsuit, fucking Sci-Fi, like that whole wave,
that was a dope wave.
And they almost look like retro figures. Like they could have been card backs. They were they were perfectly designed.
Because when they packaged them like this, Reno, I was like, dang.
Yeah, dog. And that packaging is, I love it, dog. I love
that G.I. Joe with the red, white, and blue. You know it's on. It's like, I got to get
that. Because that's how I looked when we were kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I got them hanging on my walls. I just hung them on the wall. They look dope. Oh my god. Yeah. Could you just imagine? We're all talking about it. They were like this. Just imagine this in the 80s. You go in the store in the 80s and this is hanging on the This is hanging on
no
the
joke. If I didn't have enough money, I'd be stealing those every day. Back in the day, I ain't gonna play. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, could you
Bro.
imagine?
You know,
If they was in the
it
store
was
when we was
done
kids.
regardless, but still, it would be at a magnificent level.
Yeah.
So C.H. Martins and stuff wouldn't even. Their
The
security
thing was is
everywhere.
that
Yeah.
we got what we wouldn't have got if it was like that though, Stu, is all the vehicles and play sets. Would have never had a flag. Would have never probably had a
Well, no. Well, then again, remember back in the day we had Rambo, which was a nice.
Yeah, Rambo was pretty big.
There was no flag.
Centurion.
There was
no
no
big Centurions was.
But he had his Jeep.
He had the tower thing,
the tower, the Jeep. So it would have been done back then. Because remember, they were used to back then to the 1960s Joes who had all the play sets and vehicles.
It was 12-inch.
Well,
they were 12.
It was 12.
Shout out to Kenner, bro, because Kenner comes through with the Star Wars figures because they wanted to make the Millennium Falcon. They wanted to make all these vehicles, so they're like, "Well, let's shrink the guy." They were the first ones to make the 3.4, like really mass produced, and GI Joe copied that because they were like, "Oh, we can make vehicles."
Corey, thank you, Corey.
Yo.
Shout out to Corey.
Shout out to Corey. Thank you, fam. Thank you.
The only reason why they shrunk down those figures was because of the oil crisis they had back then.
That was the same thing. We just said that. Raw talk. Because we just said that
in the late 70s, early 80s, there was an oil crisis.
Okay,
there
was, but.
So
you're still making these big giant plastic vehicles and shit. So I think they made it more plastic than if the figures were big.
Well, if they had the figures that was giant and the vehicles,
I'll say this. In all the documentaries that we've seen, they say that the reason Kenner made the figures small was so they could make vehicles. And that G.I. Joe also wanted to make vehicles, so they went with a smaller line than they used to do with their old G.I. Joe figures. Because the Kenner Star Wars line was incredibly popular. It exploded. It was super popular. Like that was the first shit I was into, but as a little kid. But I was just, whether it was a combination of the oil crisis and that, very possible. Yeah.
Because they still were business people back then too. So of course, they're thinking about their bottom line back then. And it'll never change.
You both got a point and you both are right because on Reno's and he's right because when Kenner came out with Star Wars and they were knocking those down, the vehicles and all that, Star Wars, when they introduced that small figure, because before Star Wars came out, 77? And we were getting figures like this.
77, yeah.
77? We get figures like this. But when they shrunk them down to like this, you could put them in your pocket. That revolutionized the whole thing. Because now you could bring out the Millennium Falcon, the TIE Fighter. You can bring out the Imperial Star Destroyer. All of that, and you can play with those they all fit in there, and you can play with them all inside the thing. It was about playability. We played with those figures, and then on Raw Talks, and he's right because at the end of the day, it costs money to make them this big, but to shrink them down like this, that's less money, and they fit in vehicles. But if you look at G.I. Joe, when G.I. Joe first came out, I know Raw Talk remembers this. We didn't get a lot of vehicles right away. That came later. They started spilling out. All of that started spilling out later on. Yeah. Like especially after the line took off.
83, 84,
yeah.
Got crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy. By then, oil crisis over.
I came into G.I. Joe in kindergarten. And it was because my family, like my whole family, chipped in because I guess they thought it was funny. They were in a toy store looking at, and they saw this giant thing. It was like $80, so they called the aunties and everybody chipped in.
$100 back then.
$100, whatever it was. They bought the flag, and they thought it was funny because I'm kindergarten. I was a small kid, and this thing is bigger than him. Want to be funny, like so. They had this shit laid out. I woke up, come out in the morning, bro, and I see the Christmas tree and I see the flag laying there, but it was in the box, and I'm just like, the fuck is that? Like it changed my world, bro. I never was into He-Man really, Transformers really, Thundercats really. It was G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe. Anytime they ask, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? G.I. Joe. What's the next thing for G.I. Joe? We go to the store. Can I come with you? Can I get a man? Right? Can I get a man? There was $250. Could I get a man? Yeah, let me get a man.
Yeah. I get a man. Yep.
Yeah, 250.
but
And think about 250. You sold them for 250. 250 was a lot of money back then. And 250.
But it wasn't a yes every time you asked for a man,
No,
right? It was definitely not yes every time, but you always asked, but you didn't get a yes every time. And I think nowadays, like if my kid asks, "Can I get a man?" It was $250, I would never say no, because what's $250? But back then, $250 was like $10 or whatever, probably.
I mean, think about $100 for a flag. I'd have got 2 of them on a flag.
Yeah.
$100, you'd be like, ain't nothing. But back then, that was a lot for our parents.
Today, shit, them things are running. If it's complete in a box, it's like 10 grand.
They say, you ain't
but
lying.
You got Mondo out there making big ass figures now. Mondo figures are incredible, but they're $300. They're $300-$400, $250 to $400. So
that's like Takara. That's like Takari Toyama, whatever you call them, and Yellow Park, the ones that make the other Transformers.
Yeah,
like the Japanese, they make Transformers. Them joints is like $100 plus. I mean, but they dope. And I will say, I'm not even. They are doper than the Hasbro ones.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: you look at that price, you're like, ah, damn.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, do I really want to spend $150 on this Transformer right now?
Yeah. But now you look at Hasbro's prices are steadily increasing.
Transformers are crazy.
Look for another price jump in your action figures in the coming months, right after or during Joe Fest. Around that, you're going to see another jump because it's critical now. You know what I'm saying?
State of Hamoose. But yeah, he said we can talk about 3.5. Talk about missed opportunity. That was a god scale for world building. Really was, because you could do the play sets and the vehicles and more. Because even with Classified now, look at how much we have to pay for a fucking snowcat, for a Rattler. Like those weren't that big a deal back then. Like we're paying Paradome prices and flag prices right now for these things, even more because but $20 for that size. Now who's out there? You got the vintage collection, Star Wars vintage collection. They're 20, 25 even now after tax and shipping.
You see the new Mandalorian and
Grogu for kids
vintage. They had the nerve to add Grogu with Mandalorian and call it a deluxe now for the vintage.
And they put a little Grogu, which is a little nub of plastic that costs half a cent.
And these guys want over $30-$40 for it, 47 something. I'm like, yo, are you mad?
And we're talking 3.75, guys. That's what I'm saying, man.
Tristan, you are exactly right. The new Blitzwing is going to be about $99 because every time Hasbro comes out with a cheaper model, they come out with a more expensive one that looks better, transformed, and looks more like the movie or the cartoon. Because the one they just put out for about $60 now, $50, it's all right, but it ain't like the Blitzwing I know. I don't like it. I really don't.
No, Transformers have always been insane to me though. Like price wise, it's just a lot. But he said maybe I wouldn't have such a problem with G.I. Joe line if we can see an evolution to the line. The Energon universe is a baby step toward progression. Well, here's the thing, Jake Holmes. Like they started off with the new versions of the characters and stuff with Classified, and like personally, I wasn't interested. It didn't really quite take off until they started doing the 80s style, just because nostalgia's hot right now, and that's what. But for guys, and I know like Raw Talk, you were one of the first people that was like, nah, I want them to be a new style because I already own all the 80s toys.
Yeah.
But for like me, I was like, I don't own any of the 80s toys anymore, and this is a way for me to kind of get that back, but in an adult way, and like that really appealed to me was to be able to have the figures like an adult version of the figures I had as a kid. I didn't want a new style or something I didn't recognize because that didn't give me any feeling of nostalgia or whatever, because like that's what a lot of us do this for. So there is two schools, man, and that is a valid point. Like some people just want them to be completely new, to evolve, have a new version, because I already have the old ones. But for newer collectors or collectors that are back into the game, or like most of us, Gen X having our midlife crisis or whatever this is that's causing us to do this wild shit, we want that shit to look like the OG. So they got to ride that line, and Lenny did a pretty good job at riding that line. Like a lot of it, he did both. It was pretty good, like because for me, I'm like, And that other video, again, to defend that video, it felt like I was bashing him and I like wanted him to make everything 80s style. I just meant like for me, but I realized that's not what everyone else wants, and he did do a good job of balancing it and doing.
Yeah,
Giving
he's
us a nice
definitely
amount
dope.
of it.
Nothing. I mean, them Hasbro moving to Boston, of course, is a dumb move to those who you got career people that you have under you, great designers, great marketers, and and just to uproot and have them uproot their whole lives. That's silly. I mean, unless you're paying for the uprootment, oh, we're gonna buy you a new house, we're gonna do all this. Unless you're doing that, cool. But if you're not doing that, it's ridiculous. And I don't blame a lot of these guys for jumping ship and doing what they got to do for their family. And they're gonna lose a mass amount of talent, man. I mean, they're losing mass amount of talent, and they're gonna lose more in the coming months. It's gonna be the word bloodbath is like used, but it's gonna be something to that, because you're gonna see, oh, they're laying off again, and it's gonna be sad, but we're gonna see, and I'm always the predictor of doom in a sense when it comes to certain
harbinger
things. Yes, you know what I'm saying? I can see the future when it comes to that. I told everybody about the price hikes back in the middle of the pandemic. I said, yo, y'all having it good now. Them price hikes is coming. Trust me. Boom. What happened? I say it's gonna go to 35. Boom. What happens? I said it goes to 50. People was like, nah, I can't do that. Okay.
Boom.
Because I had intel on the inside, you know what I'm saying? I got people that's not people, but one person that's close to a lot of stuff. And I get the intel here and there whenever I call and ask a question and what have you.
Yeah. Well,
but you know what, Raw Talk is they always pass it down to the consumer.
Oh, yes.
Whenever it goes up. Like when we first heard about tariffs, people was like, oh, well, that's cool. And people that aren't educated and didn't know, it's like, oh, well, they pay for that. We don't pay for that. And all the consumers and all the big companies told you, Big Farm told you. Oh, we passed that down to consumer. Now we don't pay for that. We just hike the price up on the price of the tariff, and that's how we get down. Everybody told everybody that. And so now they're up that much. And it's like I said with the McFarlane, bruh, once they went up, like, for me to order one to my house, literally, is $50. It's literally $50.
Yeah, bro. Nuts.
That's tax. That's tariffs, right? And shipping. That's three things that drove the figure.
For a $19 figure.
Yeah. That's what we were getting them for a year
I
or two.
remember, and I think they were $15.99.
When we started on Multiverse. Right. And that's what they should be.
$15.99.
That's what they should be.
Walmart. Yep.
With their big ass Frankenstein pins in the joints and the fucking weak ass ankles and the big thick ass plastic, bro. McFarlane figures are I can't stand them. But I'm on Instagram today and I'm flipping and I see this. Shanae Gill posted. She posted the party. She so Tony, she said, I flew to Hasbro headquarters in Rhode Island to surprise my manager and mentor of 6 years, the great Totino. That's Tony, who is the guy here on the right that you see with Lenny all the time in the fan streams. And he is his send-off party, right? Almost 2 decades after keeping the action figure gears turning at Hasbro, he is on to make new magic at Boss Fight Studios. It was an emotional and meaningful trip, and I can't quantify the impact Tony has made on me as a professional. So Boss Fight Studios is also, if you remember, where Lenny just went to a couple weeks ago. So now you're going, oh shit, right? Lenny posted this. He was like, I'm out after 20 years. Woo-woo. We saw that. And then we see, and Shanae, she said, from a fresh grad to leading digital model engineering dev on my own brands like Star Wars, he's been there every step of the way to guide me, challenge me, or to recommend some weird new potato chip flavor. Tony, you and Lenny will be greatly missed, but we are so excited to see you create, and congratulations. This is what Tony did. Look at that. You got Desert Scorpion, you got Sci-Fi, you got all the Power Rangers, you got all the Frag Vipers, Monkey Ranch, which was phenomenal. A lot of the OG 13 up there.
Yeah, Power Rangers
and stuff like that. One of the movie caps, I believe.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all Tony right there. So that's who just left. But yo, shout out to Chaz the Guru. He said, so you're telling me the Hasbro employees don't want to uproot their families, move to a more expensive city where more traffic for a company that may lay them off at a moment's notice? Seriously?
Facts. Why even do that?
Seriously?
And I think the age of being a loyal worker is dead. Because you can't be a loyal worker to a company that's not loyal to you.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like,
and once
because
they figure that shit out.
Because they back in the day, we used to be valuable assets. People were a resource. They were valuable assets to companies. Now they're expandable commodities. And now with AI, they want to push AI so hard because like, well, if I can get a computer or a robot to do it, I ain't got to hire people who complain, on vacations, want to work from home. Got to get home and get their children. Got to sleep, got to eat. If I put robots in AI, I ain't got to pay for
Well, it's not all AI. That AI is kind of, for certain things, it's kind of a myth. Because
let's not do the AI thing.
No. I'm just saying, as far as the company wise, they want to shrink. They need to shrink down because they the consumption is not there anymore. The overconsumption of things are not there, so they need a reason to shrink.
Yeah, well, they are definitely shrinking. That is for sure.
They need it, and that reason is this next generation of workers don't want to work. They want to work when they want to work. They have a lot. Like when me, you, and Rena would go into an interview years ago, like early 2099, we went in there with an open mindset. Like, like we're here. What position are you offering? What shift are you offering? How much money you offering? They would tell us, and we would make decisions where we were going to take it in that. Now you got the millennials and the Gen Zers. They go in there like, well, I can't work weekends because I can't be with my friends, but I can work Monday through Friday, and I got to work 9 to 3 every day. They don't care how much money they make. They don't care about fringe benefits. They don't care about none of that. Because the only thing if they got enough money to go to the movies, they got enough money to eat because they love to eat. If they got enough money to buy just enough to buy the things that they like and get by, like just enough to get by, they're cool with that. But they want it on their terms. They want everything on their terms.
They're cool with it while they're because you got multi-generational homes now, and that's due to the inflation and all that bullshit. And they may be like that now, but there comes
young people can't buy homes anymore.
Yeah, they can't buy homes. There comes a time when you want to buy a home. You can't stay at
roof. But because you got to understand, we took away everything me, you, and Reno got. We worked for, we worked for it, and we earned, and we saved, we budgeted, we crawled before we walked. Nobody gave. Listen, let me tell you, ain't nobody ever gave me nothing, not a damn thing. Anything I ever got, I worked for it. I saved my money. I crawled before I walked. I always didn't have money for extra things when I was in my 20s. Like when I had my 2 older boys, I didn't have a lot of, but my youngest son, he gets a lot more because I got the money for it now because I worked for it. I worked for that position. And that's just how, thank you. That's how it be. Yeah. But these kids now, they want to come out the box driving a Tesla. They want to come out the box owning a home. And you haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. You got to build up to that, man.
Hey, when I was in my 20s, bro, I really thought I was gonna be a millionaire by 25. I really did. When I was 21, I really did, bro. I really.
But you know what the difference? Know the difference, though, Reno, was? You was willing to work to do it. You was willing to work to get it. You was willing to put it on the line. Or you was willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
How many kids? Keep it a buck. How many young kids want to put in the work?
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to go. Like, okay, here's the thing. They see their parents, us, Generation X and older, come from work, pains in the back or whatever, a little bit of complaining here and there. How was your dad? They hear all that because kids are very observant, regardless of what you may think. So they're hearing conversations that adults have at barbecues and things about their jobs, and they're saying to themselves, well, I'm not going to go out like that. My dad worked over 30 years and didn't get nothing to show for it, and they laid him off. I'm not going to be a victim. So that's their mentality, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
We give these young people a lot of hard stuff, but I don't blame them. I do not blame them because they now have the capabilities, if they put forward with this technology, to do more than we ever could do in a short amount of time if they apply themselves.
Yeah. They don't have to do a lot of physical labor anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to do that. And they're not going to go somewhere where they're going to be exploited. They don't believe in that, and I'm 100% with them on that.
But you know what?
That's a good point right here.
And they have to be like that, raw talk, because the way companies operate now, they will exploit you. Like the thing Reno put up just now. Oh, the company moves to another state, you got to relocate, and then a year later it said, "Well, look, we got to downsize. So here you go, and we're out."
Well, you have smaller companies too, like that don't have like Jay Combs is pointing out here with the Valaverse company. It's a smaller company, so he's not having that issue. And the big question of how can Valaverse spit out these figures at the same price as Hasbro is a main topic that we're gonna definitely be talking about on the 20th. We're gonna have, like I said, Tony's Figs is gonna be here, Shark Eyes, who else? Mark II Designs and Jersey Maniac. Yeah, the customizer, the reviewer, the designer, and the maniac. We're gonna be here. We're gonna chop it up with us with 6 Element about this very thing, about Hasbro versus indie figures and stuff. But while Valaverse and classified price points are similar, look at the difference in quality. Look at how much more Bobby gives you with your figure. How much more shit you get with a Valaverse figure? Way more accessories, way more hands, way more detail. The figures are just better quality. Everything about it is a better thing. The only thing they're missing is a known IP and a known character name.
Yeah, well, no.
What Hasbro has is known characters. They don't have to rely on the quality of the figure as much because you want Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
you don't really care as much how the quality, but if Savage Crucible creates, a Demon Lord guy, you don't know who that is. It has to look amazing to make you buy it.
Yeah,
that's the
true.
difference.
That's true.
But the overhead is different.
And Bobby, he's been through the ringer with Hasbro. He knows the ins and outs, and he knows the factory setting and how to do.
I was getting ready to say that.
So his experience is top notch, and he created relationships with factory owners and stuff and manufacturers. So he get the quality for a great price, so he don't have to hit you in the pockets heavy like that.
And also, I agree with World Talk, and also that's why they probably hired him. Because they want that line that they're trying to bring out to be as successful and meaningful and look just as good, if not better, than the classified line.
Yeah,
and that's why they hired him. They hired him. They probably paid him a boatload of money. Said, "Look, come on over here. What they paying you over here? We'll double that. If you can get this line up and running like that, we'll pay you double."
Valaverse?
Yeah.
He owns Valaverse. He took his severance pay, and he owns Bobby Vala owns Valaverse. That's his baby.
That's why it's called Valaverse. He's Bobby Vala. That's his last name.
No, but I'm just saying. But it's a competition thing. Like if you event, like if I make a car,
somebody's gonna make action force.
Yeah, somebody's gonna make it. Yeah, like if I make a car, somebody's gonna make a better car. It might look like the car I made, but it's gonna be better. And if they can get it better, if they can make it do something better than what I'm doing, they're gonna do it. So when they made the Valaverse, that's their goal, to either do it just as good or better than the competition and make some money. They probably was sitting around like, man, I can make these even better.
Well, that is what Bobby said. He was like, I can make them shits better because Hasbro let him go. He got laid off at Hasbro. They didn't fire him or anything like that. It was a big layoff that he was a part of. He said. And he said, but yeah, so he goes and does his own thing with all the knowledge that he has and all the limitations that they put on him now, not on him, right? Because when he was working at Hasbro, he's like, I know I could do this better. Oh man, wouldn't it be better if we had hands that grip this way and that way and had hands for that and heads for that? And wouldn't it be better if the detail of this was here and all that shit? But Hasbro would be like, no, we're not paying for that. That costs too much, blah, blah, blah. And really what it is, the real answer was, no, the profit margin will be too low, and the CEOs and execs won't get enough.
Exactly.
Because if they're eliminated, if you just have Bobby as the owner, CEO, there's no shareholders and board and chairman and CEO and executives that are trying to get money out of the profit of these figures. He can put it all into the figure. That's why his figures are way better.
And that's what he does. Yeah, that's my point. If you can make it better, even if you can steal an employee from somebody else that was doing it, you know, like when you had 2K, you had 2K football, and you had 2K basketball. It was better than what EA was putting out, and then EA was losing. And then at one point, they stole some employees and devs from 2K and brought them over to EA, but it still never took off. But they did it because they were trying to keep up with the competition. Things are going to change. We're always going to get new developers. We're always going to get new people to do it. We don't know at this point what's going to happen with Classified. This might be the time. This might be the thing that sets everything off. That gives us the stuff that we always been asking for, or it might not. We don't know. We don't know.
I hope. I hope that the next people that come in and start working on Classified, I hope they're older, and I hope they start doing shit that we would have wanted them to do. That's what we hope. We hope it's going to get better. But what it'll probably do is they'll probably round out the line. Here's another thing. That line's almost done. When I look at the wall and I think about all the figures and I look at the roster and I look at all the 80s Joes, there's only a small handful that he hasn't done yet. And in my opinion, they're the ones I didn't want anyway. Okay, I didn't want Psych Out. I didn't want Fast Draw. I didn't want Sneak Peek. I don't want them. I don't want Sneak Peek. I don't want none of you. I know those are your favorites. I know you like them for whatever reason. That's you. But so for some people, yeah, there is a lot left to do. For me, all I really want is that version fucking 3 Snake Eyes with the fucking butterfly swords, and then I want a Dress Blues Gung Ho. And honestly, with what they've already sort of announced that's being, gonna be coming down the pipe, if it ended after that, bro, I'd be cool. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh man, there's so much left to do, because there really isn't. If this shit was a year ago, we'd be fucked up. Like, so much hadn't been done. But at this point, bro, with what's been done and with what they've announced, even up to the not just the name, the digital renders we've seen, but the name reveals that are already, confirmed. You even got Salvo up there in the name reveals, guys. So somebody said Salvo, but like a lot of characters are in there to come. So yeah, if it ended tomorrow, as far not ended tomorrow, but if they were like, we're not going to make any more out of what we've already announced, it wouldn't be the end of the world, is what I'm saying. We kind of already have what we need, but there is a lot to do, and it would be phenomenal. And listen, they don't have to stop, because you can always do repaints, you can do teams, and of course there's the whole vehicle line world that you have to figure out. Yeah,
we still haven't done. Yeah, we might be done with figures, but they could just say skip. We got to do all vehicles for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've even announced all the original 13 at this point. They've all been announced to be name revealed and everything, because there's Grand Slam left, Flash, but they'll come out. They're just repainting each other, so that's easy.
The 13 pack. Just watch. Once they finish, they're gonna drop that pack again, because for the people who didn't get the other figures, they're gonna drop the first 13 or whatever, the first Joe again. Yeah. They're gonna do it because
they should card back them, put them in a big pack. Yeah. Well, once fans realize that shit, though, I mean, that the paranoia is setting in the community and spreading, and so because collectors are wondering, like, the question nobody wanted to ask a year ago is, what if G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, Transformers, or even parts of Star Wars eventually head down the same road as the what do you call them, Power Rangers and shit like that? What if Hasbro slowly transitions away from making toys and becomes the company that just owns the brands, while the smaller studios handle the physical products?
But
and is that a bad thing?
Well, I don't. If you look
if smaller studios got to make these figures, bro, imagine if Bobby Vala had the fucking G.I. Joe rights, bro. If he was making G.I. Joe instead of Action Force, our dreams would come true. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing everything we're complaining that Hasbro's not. Yeah, but he just doesn't have the IP.
If you look at history with the G.I. Joe lines, it always had an abrupt stop to them. every iteration had an abrupt
right.
stop.
They
Yeah,
just
he's
cut
right.
off.
So
They're
this
like,
should
what?
not be any different.
Surprise. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
any
different.
surprise.
Yeah, surprise. He's
Right.
right.
You
Yeah,
know.
because I remember. Yeah, he's right. They did just cut off like that. And then bring out a
Even
cartoon.
with the early 80 line, once it got to in the 90s, it abruptly stopped until it got picked up again in 97. It stopped in 94, jumped back into the game in 97. So, you know, it depends on how they want to move, because there's certain outside forces, certain things of that nature, because they figured nobody wanted military action figures anymore due to these wars and stuff like that, and they didn't want to produce them anymore because they thought mothers wouldn't like it. And it's not about that. It's about the child. If the child's used to something, they like it. But it's different now because there are no children caring about any of it. It's us,
Plus, it's digital.
new experiment. Generation X for experiment. We
Yeah.
were the first experiment in everything.
Guinea pigs.
Yes.
Mhm.
So now that they don't need us per se anymore, because they got the new our offspring, our grandkids and great grandkids, and you know, they have them now in the digital world. So they can, hey, these old people, we don't need them no more. We got their children's children now. So now we got everything. And that's how they do. That's how they work.
Yeah.
So the
Pretty much.
corporation is definitely changing with the times as far as digital, and this is what it is. We just gotta treasure what we have, and you know, and understand that nothing lasts forever in that regard.
Yeah. Well, and this is my problem too, Master Gray Wookie. I would love to buy figures from like Four Horsemen or Boss Fight or Savage Crucible or whoever, or Valaverse, but I want, you know, Destro and Spirit and Storm Shadow and Cobra Commander and Wolverine and Cyclops and Spider-Man and Luke Skywalker and these characters that Hasbro happens to own all of. My favorite shit is what? Star Wars, Marvel, and G.I. Joe. And Hasbro like has them all. I'm like stuck. I'm like trapped at Hasbro. I can't do a lot of expanding because the other guy, like Hiya Toys, they're cool, but you don't get that many characters with Hiya Toys. They've only done a small amount of characters, and of course, you know that's its own thing, and they have their limitations, and you know however they're made and whatever. And so like everybody has, I don't know, man. It would be great, but I mean,
but you know what, Reno, that's the problem right now with when they just did the line for Marvel Rivals. A lot of people said they're not buying them because they know Blockies is going to do a version of it, and it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah,
and it's going to pretty much look the same, if not better. And that's what people wait. They waiting for the block. Same thing with Transformers. They're waiting for
I've
the
never got a Blocky yet. I haven't bought a Blocky yet.
I got a couple.
You got one right now? You can pull out.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Because I want to see what they really look like in hand, bro. Because everybody's talking about, and I see them on the thing. Everybody in the chat's gotten them away. They look really cheap. They look like they're gonna fall apart in my hand or something.
Nah, they're not. They're actually dope. I'm trying to build Devastator. That's hard because.
And that's what I also don't get. Is it a model or is it a figure? And why you have to build it? Are they saving cost that way? Is it just cheaper?
Because they blind box it, and that's the thing. You know, everybody
blind box it.
Yeah, because you know Gen Z.
You don't know what character you're getting.
No,
exactly. You can get 5 of the same character.
You get 5.
Oh fuck!
2 of the same one.
You.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get into that blocking stuff.
Yeah, I'm straight on that bullshit. But you're right, Stu. That's what they like now. They love that shit now. They love them packs. They love wasting their money on 7 of one character just to get the one they like. But it's fun. It's the hunt. You know, it's all a cool. It's all a fun. Another form of the hunt. But yeah, but yeah, at Classified, bro, it's a problem. First Corey left, then Lenny left. Now Tony's just left, and he's joined Lenny at Boss Fight Studio. So here's the thing that tells us they already planned this. What they said was I'll leave first, you wait a couple weeks, then you leave, so it doesn't seem like we're leaving together. And then they both go to Boss Fight, like they already definitely planned that out. After 20 years at Hasbro and shit like that.
Your homie up, you gonna be like, yo, we gonna move.
Yeah,
B.
Yeah. It's inevitable. Like, of course. Like, imagine. You know what I'm saying? That's the team. That's the squad.
These are my favorite Transformers. You know, my brother gets on me, but I love Transformers in a certain way. And I like the minis, the miniatures. Let me show you guys. I like the miniatures. And when Hasbro did these guys, I was like, yeah, this is what I need. These are the guys that I like.
They're miniature?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get
You might have to turn I can see them right there.
Hold on, let me do my background joint real quick. God damn. Visual effects, right? All right, cool. Bomb. So these are the guys that I like. Remember when they were tiny? So these resonate with me because these are the things I used to take out of C.H. Martin and stuff like that over here on the East Coast.
Those used to be tiny when they first came out. Them characters, you mean?
Yeah, they used to be this big. So, you know, part of the G1. So these guys, Cosmos and Sea Spray, and then you got Brawn and all these guys.
Cassettes and shit. You got any?
Vehicles. They were little vehicles.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
So I'm waiting for Hasbro to complete them that wave with the jet and the tank, and once they do all of that, then I'm off of it. You know what I'm saying? But these are the transform. I mean, I got my Optimus Prime and my Bumblebee. But
right.
Like these are the guys I prefer to collect, and I got my what's his name?
That Braun?
Jetfire. Yeah.
Is that Braun? I want Jetfire so bad.
Yeah, I got my
I ain't really lie, dog.
Them out and
I want to draw.
Because now how I'm feeling is like these are G.I. Joe. They're in the same universe.
It's Wind Charge. Oh, you got the. You picked up the Wind Charge. Is that the new Wind Charge or that's the older one?
This is the retro one, the new one on the card.
Okay. Yeah, that one's dope.
Yeah,
that was dope. So and that's Braun. That's the retro Braun, right?
Yeah. I mean, you used to rub. Well, you used to rub.
Yeah, rub the joint. Yeah, yeah, you can see what he was.
Yeah, he was
Decepticon or Autobot.
So this is the stuff that, you know, as far as marketing Hasbro, they dropped the ball on really combining G.I. Joe and Transformers in a real way. They did it with the O-ring and stuff like that. You know, when they combine stuff, but they could have blew it all out and made it something.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, they could have.
Y'all see in the background of my house, you see my collection in the background lurking.
Yeah, I gotta get Jetfire, man. Yeah, I gotta get Jetfire. But here's a Blockies. They're like a cross between Blockies. They're like a cross between. Yes, this is a Blocky. And they come in different sizes.
And that transforms too?
No, they don't transform. Now, wait a minute. Here's the thing. I know y'all some serious collectors. I know this. Okay, so they come disassembled like Legos, and you have to actually put them together.
Model,
like they're like a mix between Legos and a model. So,
but is it articulated? Like it moves? You can bend the joints.
Yeah, you can bend the joints and all that. Yeah. I just got it. Yeah, so you can bend the joints. You can move, and they come with these stands, and you can click them together. You can click them together here on the side. See how they got the little clicking thing, so you can click all of them together in a row or whatever. And then they come with, now if you want to transform, they come with transformed versions that you have to put together. So this is Swoop. I would have to put him together, transformed, and this is his robot version. So you can't transform them, but they come with they're transformable ones, and that's what it is. So you can have the Dinobots have their transformed versions.
Right. Is that the only one you have?
No, I got about 3 or 4.
Do you have any Blockies that are like Marvel or G.I. Joe characters?
No, I haven't collected any of those. Okay. No, they don't have G.I. Joe yet, but they do have Marvel figures. They do have Marvel figures. I haven't collected any of those, and they're bigger. They're about the size of this bottle right here. This is like a 1 liter bottle. They're about the size of this.
They I guess they fit with Marvel Legends.
Like, but they have Transformers that are, so the Transformers line of this, they have ones that are huge, like this big, like Optimus Prime, Megatron, Soundwave. They got a Soundwave. They got a Shockwave.
So they must
And you got
have
to put,
rights. You know, they've got some sort of rights that they're able
yeah,
to make them. They have the rights to be able to do it.
but
And
they're
yeah, I
ultra popular.
mean,
They're
And
ultra and Reno.
yeah,
They
yeah,
got smaller ones than these, so they got like
hmm
little bobblehead
yeah,
ones with the big. They look cute, but that's just what they're. You can probably go on eBay and get them. Somebody bought a bunch of them, opened them, and they'll sell them for double the price, already put together. And you know what I mean. But a lot of people like the blind box thing, man. And
yeah.
blockies are dope. I can't say they aren't. I got
Well,
about three.
they're dope. They don't have the like the exact sort of detail necessarily. Maybe I
No,
guess or something
no, they don't. No, they don't.
of a Hasbro.
I think people like the blind box version. And like you said earlier, you hit the nail on the head. It looks like it, and they're like, "Yo, I'm cool with this. It
Yeah,
might cost less, but I'm cool with it because it looked just like the character I
and the
really
price
want,
point is there too. The
and the
price
price
yeah,
point is there." Yeah, I think
yeah,
this cost probably cost me like $10,
yeah,
$12.
see, there you go.
But
yeah.
since the tariff invasion, they're probably
Well, I
closer to
wonder.
20 now. They're probably closer to about 20 now.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I know. So Mattel is doing the DC line next. So they finally got the DC adult figure IP or rights back from McFarlane. And so once 2027 hits, they'll be making some DC joints that are a little bit more. Well, they're going to be sort of like so. You got to look at Mattel's wrestling line, right? They've got a low scale wrestler, low scale sort of, I guess, level figure that has like very minimal detail, minimal articulation, whatever. And I guess they have like 4 levels up to elite. And so what we're getting the first, like, Stu, because I know you showed me some pictures of the original or the first DC Hasbro figures that are coming out, and not too impressive, right? They kind of look like they're for kids, and they are. They're more of a kid figure. Apparently, though, Mattel will be getting that to the adult stuff after 2027 or in 2027. I guess in 2027 they'll be doing the kid stuff at the end of this year, apparently. So that's happening. But as far as like classified, bro, whoever takes over, man, because Lenny and Tony, bro, they were very obsessed over the tiny paint details and the little sculpt accuracy and the articulation tweaks, making color corrections and gear placements and all the little things that made the line feel like a premium toy line and not like a Hasbro kids toy line.
Mm.
And that's what I hope, I would love to see that happen with DC, but that's what we really want. You know what I'm saying? And we got to see them on every live stream, behind the scenes segments. You know what I'm saying? Every reveal made it very obvious that those dudes genuinely cared about G.I. Joe. And that's why we trusted them. That's why we trusted the line. It didn't feel corporate. It felt passionate. It felt like a Bobby Vala line. It felt like an indie line because that's how they did it. That's how they rocked it. That was how the free what you call them live streams was and fan streams and shit. Which is exactly why the fear right now goes way beyond will the next figure wave still look good? Because realistically, fans know a lot of the next couple of years are already in motion. We know the designs are done, and it's all Lenny's and Tony's designs. Tooling exists. A ton of Lenny and Tony's figure prints are probably still all over the 2027 and maybe even parts of 2028.
28. Mm.
The concern is what happens after that pipeline runs dry, and who's going to be the person internally fighting for the next level of detail and trying to push back when management says it's good enough, give it to them like that. That's fine. They don't.
Also, we also have to think about the next designers, because every designer want to put their stamp on something. It's a creative thing.
Mhm.
Every creative want the world to know that they did something. And
exactly, put their line, their legacy,
put their little panache on it or what have you, and that might offset or may look weird compared to the other lines that you bought previously. It may look slightly different, and some collectors may have a problem with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if it's not.
And honestly, the anxiety is even stronger when you look at what is happening around the whole Hasbro, outside the toy aisle too, because the company's literally leaving Pawtucket after around a century, 100 years, and moving headquarters to Boston, which is not just a business relocation. It's very symbolic, right? People in Rhode Island were reacting like they lost part of the city's identity because for generations Hasbro was Pawtucket. Like it was on the news, like they had a whole thing. Families worked there for decades. People grew up around that company. And so when residents are on local news talking about how Pawtucket lost McCoy Stadium and how Hasbro, how they lost Hasbro too, it paints a picture of a company cutting ties with its old identity and chasing a newer, more corporate, less warm, less independent, future in Boston's very tech-heavy environment that they're moving into. And when you put all this together, the digital pivot, the licensing strategy, the shrinking focus on toys, more towards digital, the departures, obviously not just random employees, but top lead designers, and the headquarter relocation. Collectors are starting to feel like they're watching Hasbro slowly shed its skin, not collapsing, not dying. Financially, the company might think is the smartest thing they've ever done, but culturally and emotionally, to the collectors who grew up with the stuff and the people from that town and all that shit, it feels very strange. It feels very cold. It feels like the company's moving away from the very thing that built its legacy in the first place.
We know that'd be like Tasty Cake leaving the Philadelphia area. It's the same thing. It'd be like Tasty Cake saying, "You know what?
Yeah, but why
damn this? We going down to South Carolina." Yeah. They like, damn this. We going to South Carolina. And
Budweiser and
Budweiser and all
New Jersey,
wherever the fuck, New Jersey.
It'd be the same thing.
If old Milwaukee left Milwaukee, like, come on.
It's the same thing.
But we also have to think about their play too, because the corporation play is like they've been there 100 years. They obviously own the landscape and everything around. Maybe they say, "Hey, we're going to build some housing units." Because that's the craze now. Housing units, which can fetch
company housing
dollars. You know what I'm saying? So what they do with the land after they move, that's going to be telling of what their mindset is and why they did what they did.
Yeah,
I guarantee it's them building.
Or maybe real talk. It's just maybe they just had it down. So maybe it's just costing too much money to operate there now.
Well, they actually own the land, so it shouldn't be much overhead that they had to pay out for the land or anything like that. Or upkeep. But I know they're moving in Boston close to the shipping ports. That may be a strategy to not rely on other parts of the country shipping line.
Shipping so
that might be one avenue. But the Pawtucket thing, man, that right there, I think that's a more of a investment move on the company to keep some type of money flowing for their to bounce back from any future losses when they start getting rid of their toy lines, their physical toy lines. We got rid of this stuff here, but we do have these luxury homes that we built, these luxury condos, things like smart city or whatever type of style they want to do.
It could be all of the above. We're not gonna know until it manifests itself.
Yeah, exactly. Time will tell.
But like you said, when you have small you understand how America's built. Like when you have companies that's been there for long, they employ people in the communities that's around them, and then they bring business to the state and out of the state. So it's a thing where these people get mad because they know when that company leaves, jobs leave with it. And sometimes it kills the town. So like everybody in that town might work for them in some way or another or get something out of it and kill the town. Like Walmart is good for that. That's why a lot of people hate Walmart coming to the town, because it kills all the small businesses. And then and there's recently, because of prices and tariffs and all that, Walmart's been pulling out of towns.
Yeah.
And so now that those towns dead, they have no business, no commerce, no nothing. And everybody's got to move because they can't. But the next job might be an hour away. Can I afford to drive gas at $5 a gallon? Can I afford to drive an hour away every day, 5 days a week?
Nope.
Can't do it. So there's a lot of demographics there, man.
Well, I
Like,
work from home, but yeah,
exactly.
it's tough because that's why a lot of people are leaving just for that reason. But this is also nothing new, and this is definitely, like, as you see by the gravestones in our thumbnail there that we put, because if you've been around this hobby long enough, or even if you just were a kid growing up, you've seen this pattern before. You saw Kenner, you saw ToyBiz, you saw Playmates, even Toys R Us. Every golden era in the toy industry eventually reaches that moment where the business changes underneath the culture, and fans are the last to find out. The collectors are the last to know. Company been new, then we're starting to see the employees react, and it's like right now we're seeing like the graffiti on the wall. It's you know, it's already laid out. We're just the last to find out. And back in the 80s and 90s, these big toy companies felt like they were untouchable, right? These giant toy aisles were massive, bro. Cartoons were running the airwaves. You had G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, Batman, X-Men, Star Wars, everything just dominating the entire childhood of and companies like Kenner and ToyBiz weren't just making toys. They were building worlds that kids lived inside. They were entire lifetimes, and shareholders, bro. Incredible stock, you know what I'm saying, positions in the 80s. But over time, the industry started changing. We saw the fall of all that shit. That was the era of action figures. The 80s was action figure heaven. That was the action figure kind of pinnacle, and it was the TV was all about action figures. Everything was about action figures of all kids, because we didn't have social media, we didn't have devices, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have laptops, none of that shit. It was all action figures, right? So you know, but the video game thing it happened, right? Atari, right? ColecoVision, right? And then you started, and then when Nintendo hit, bro, it was a fucking wrap. That was it. Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo start coming out, bro, and everyone, that's all anybody cared about, bro. 64 and then GameCube, and it was just over, and digital entertainment took over. And I don't mean in our minds, and I mean just in the design, in the country. Toys stopped being the center of kid culture. It's just a fact. We might not have seen it that way, but it is a fact.
That's the fact, right?
And suddenly, companies, we're making more money from video games and apps and licensing the IPs than from the action figures themselves.
Jay Combs, you got a point with that. He said, could the move to Boston be a sign that Hasbro will be leaning toward a video gaming strategy? Programmers,
100%, 100%, 100%.
That is it.
100%. But it's like we said earlier, and Reno said it best. He said, toys were made. I mean, cartoons were made to sell toys, and you had the government regulations in the 90s that mandated more educational stuff be put on TV on Saturday mornings, and less fun stuff for kids to watch, and during the week. Between that, cable and streaming, and then economics, advertising revenues decreased, because if I can't make cartoons, I can't sell toys.
Right.
And that's when the government did it. So when the government did that, they did that thinking that they were, we put more educational stuff. But now you're hurting the kids with streaming, because when you stream, you don't own nothing. Number one. Number two, when you stream, these kids are stuck on these tablets. They don't go outside.
Way the world.
And remember,
they don't go outside. Yeah.
And remember,
the world.
They always, and this may be, it's not political, but some leaning towards that. But remember, when they shut down things to be one way, like they're building workers and not creatives. So by not having these cartoons, it stunt a lot of creative growth within children.
It did. You ain't lying.
When you do that, you don't create the next creators of new technologies or industries. You create workers, because we want you to think one way, this way, and the only way, and keep banging you in the head with this. No, we don't want you to think of new characters and new fanciful worlds. We don't want you to do that, because that leads to independent thinking, independent thought, and new creative ideas.
Have you heard of Adventure Time?
Adventure Time, yes.
Yeah. Yo, I own them. I bought all of them on
Peak.
DVD.
What
Love
else?
Adventure
There was, and then there's
regular show. Yeah,
regular show, phenomenal.
Adventure Time.
You got
And,
Gumball,
Gumball 3000.
Gumball is funny.
Ben
And, what's the other
10,
one?
Ben 10.
Ben 10.
Ben 10 was dope.
right?
Ben 10
Yeah.
was super dope. I liked it, Ben 10.
I even like the live Ben 10 movies, the short movies they did.
Ben 10, yeah, they got like three or four different. And what's cool is that every series of Ben 10 that came out, he was older.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes it a successive thing. But even though the kids had all those, like that's what my kids had. That's what they grew up with.
Yeah,
they were not making action figure lines for any of these.
No.
They had the Japanese.
Yeah, the Japanese are all gonna make
do Kid Robot and stuff. You got cool shit like that.
Yeah. But no big lines accompanying
they have a small segment whenever a movie or a special cartoon or even McDonald's toys or stuff like that, they will make them then. But to stretch it out and make it a full-fledged world, they never did that because they were training the children to move a certain way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right now, if you notice the Gen Alphas and stuff like that, they're training them to synchronize their brains with computers now. They're not trying to train them how to think. They just thinking like you're going to be the next battery type shit.
No, you're right.
With the computer.
Right. I watched the I gotta go
reading levels are down like
crazy. I need to get them Ben 10 figures. I need to get them Ben 10 figures.
Yeah, I got roll as is, but I just watched a thing the other day where it was a sergeant at a boot camp. I don't know if it was the Army. I think it was the Army. He said that the generation of kids now, he was like, we can't even train them like we train the Gen X because he said they're too sensitive. They don't even respond to that. He said, but he said the one thing he can say about them, he said that he hates, but once he figured it out, it made things easier. Because if you told them something, they always asked you why. Or if we did something, they were like, why we got to do this? And he was like, I'm telling you, you got to do it because and he said they would process it and then be like, oh, okay, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
But he said if you just walk up and say, look, I need you to climb up this rope, get to the top, grab me that thing, bring it down, bring it back to me. He said they all sit there and look at you like you're crazy. And he was like, even when it comes to using the equipment, when we tell them why we use the equipment, they learn faster on how to use it. But he said, but if we just taught them to use it and moved on, like we did with the other generations, he said they don't have that instinct to just pick up on why. Yeah, like you gotta tell them. But he said once you explain it to them, the world is different. So he said what they did was in the training, if they would like, I don't know, if they were using a new operating system, he said we would explain why we were using it and then show them how to use it. And he said it got 100% better because now they didn't ask the question of why. They just was like, oh, okay, we know why because you explained that an hour ago. So we're good with it. And he said they learned faster. He said they learned just like that.
And he said, kids, you got to show them.
That's what he said.
Go off of your word.
That's what he said. Yeah, he said. Yeah, he said when we just told them and told them to do it.
Yeah,
they were like, he said they would be dumbfounded. They'd be like, why are we doing that? I don't want to do that. That's dumb.
My son a lot. My oldest son, and he always asks why. And at first I was like, just do it. But that was my father telling me that, and then I learned it that way. But I do have to explain to my son, this is why because their minds are so enamored with, and they're being bombarded more than we were. They're
with information.
Bombarded.
Yeah, with information. Yeah,
with information at like this speed. So their thought patterns is boop, 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 boop. And when you slow them down, you have to give them the reasons why you're slowing them down and giving them the processes and stuff like that, because they want instant, like, yo, tell me this, and if it makes sense, if it don't make sense, explain it to me.
Right.
That's true. And the army sergeant said that. He said now our approach is we explain it and then execute. Because he was like, when we were doing it the old way, they wasn't getting it. He was like, we were looking like, oh, we doomed. But he said they just kept asking why. Like, why are we even doing this? And then we told him, well, you got to do this because you might die if you don't do it because of this, that, and this. And they would be like, oh, okay. That's all you had to say in the first place. And he was like, and they would do it. Like he said, our success rate went up 100% rather than the old ways, like stand here. This is what we're about to do. Point and shoot.
Yeah.
They be like, why I gotta do that?
And like with Hasbro now, with the gaming, going into gaming, the kids are already trained in the ways of the gaming world. They're the Fortnites and all the other games.
Yeah,
has trained them already. So
Listen,
this is a no-brainer. This is an instant money out the cloud for them. They're like,
and it's complex. Like I know guys, I play Destiny with, man, and they know it by the numbers. I'd be like, yo, they be like, yeah, if you take this and mix it with that, and I'd be like, where did you get the time to sit here and figure all that out? Like, damn. They be like, oh no, I just went through it. And I went and looked at the stats. You got guys that data mine on when they get games and get this. Oh, well, we know that they were supposed to come up because this was on the disc and they leak it. Like, you're like, where did you get the time to do all that? Like, damn. Like nobody else did. Like I've seen guys that are like nerds with stats. They like stat nerds.
They're all villains on these games. That I mean, and I'm watching. I sit down one time and watch them, and I'm looking at them how they operate. I'm like, yeah, I can't play this game with you guys. I'll probably smash the computer out of frustration, man, because these guys are moving at light speed. Speed, I tell you.
Role-playing games, especially role-playing games, turn-based games, the strategy turn. Like you look at something like, damn, like yo, really into this like this?
Yeah. But that's what it is, and like all corporations do, they take advantage of that, and they make the money out of it. And this is what the pivot by Hasbro, everybody will see. They're pivoting from us, the Gen Xers, the ones who collect the physical media and things of that nature, to those digital worlds where it's easy, nobody owns anything, they own it all, and they make money from it all.
Right.
They can drop it anytime they want.
Yep.
That's the dude. What's up?
Real quick, I know you gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. You got the Reno and Stu Funko. Look, Reno got the comic book and the microphone for the hip hop and comics, and Stu got the headphones and the record on some hip hop, and then I got the little husky with me.
That's
and
dope.
Then,
That's
hold on, because we got some individual joints. We got the Raw Talk joint, and I got a original Reno joint.
That joint look like Raw Talk too.
Bruh.
The camera.
You got the baseball. You got the baseball bat and the action figure. He ready to do damage with his toys, son.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, that camo. That's my signature. I love camo, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then I gotta. But yeah, shits are like $70 for the joint. I was thinking about getting them and selling them on the channel like merch, but I don't know if people would buy them. It'd have to be like $100 for the two pack, because that shit costs like $75-$80 to make. We'd only make $20 a piece, and then some. But who's gonna buy that for $100? I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll be popular enough. People want to buy our little figures.
Just have it for
that's the goal, man. That's what I want. I want action figures of us.
Yeah, I mean,
Elemental.
Hey, Kid Robot. You can always do vinyl stuff. They have a lot of apps out there where you can make your own toys. You just send it to China, and it's a one-off. It's not like you have to have full production. It's going to cost.
That's the thing. Yeah, you can make your own shit, but to make it as merch would be hard.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they wouldn't.
Everybody does T-shirts and mugs and shit, but I would want to sell action figures. That would be crazy.
And create, you gotta create your own universe, your own characters. That's all.
Yep.
I mean, it's these days it's kind of easy with the advent of the AI. I mean, at first I wasn't an advocate of it, but I've seen the way you can use it to your advantage as a creator without involving anybody else's IP. You can create your own IP and build from that. I mean, it makes the process quicker. That's the only thing I would say.
All right, bro. I know
All right,
Stu, you gotta bounce, man. My bad.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, be safe, bro.
But yeah, with that, the advent of AI in that regard, for the creative, it can help. Will it be used against the creative? It has been, but if you're a creative, you're still gonna be on top no matter what. No computer can replace a man. I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
No computer. I mean, yeah, it may process fast, but you still need man to give it the instructions and the data.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, with Lenny gone and Tony gone and the whole crew gone and Classified hanging in the balance, you know, are they gonna lean on things like AI to design things, God forbid? And that's why the anxiety, I think, is bigger on this, because it's like, will the next figures be good? And fans know, like, the next couple years are probably already planned out, which is a good thing. The concern is what happens after that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and once people who built the modern era are gone, or the golden era of Classified are gone, who takes over? Does the passion stay? Because that's what could be missing, right? We could still get these next figures done or whatever, but is the passion going to be there? Are they going to be mega fans of not only G.I. Joe but action figures and building figures and shit? Because that's another thing. Lenny and them, Bobby Val and them, they're not just fans of G.I. Joe. They're fans of action figures. They're fans of making toys. And that's what gives you passion when you're a fan of something, right? So we want to see people that are fans of things making things that we love, right? If you're going to make a movie about Marvel, I want you to be a fan of comics, that you read Marvel comics and you're a fan of it, so that the passion is there, so that you care about the detail, right? And so, you know, because the line could slowly become more corporate, which Hasbro is doing, safer, cheaper, less connected to the fans who made it successful. And sadly, guys, it's not what we want to hear. And I know this is not popular.
They did a Joe line like that.
They are on the way, man. They're on the way of like dialing it down for us. And it's just, the writing is on the wall. There's still going to be the indie figures. I'm sorry, what'd you say, bro?
I said, you know, the 5-inch Joes that came out during that time.
The Hyatt toys?
No, I'm talking about Hasbro. They created a 5-inch G.I. Joe figures. They wasn't as articulate, but they had the Baroness, they had the Red Ninjas. They had it around the time where they introduced Classified. It was like the more simpler
for like kids.
For the kids. So they may go back to that route and expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, yeah, I mean, but you know, I think what is in our favor in that scenario is that they don't believe in toys for kids, like action figures for kids. They believe in video games and digital shit for kids. That's what they want to lean to. So if they're gonna do action figures, it's gonna be for adults, which it already is, and they've said this. I mean, I'm just going by what the CEO said. He said we're pretty much dialing back on everything. If we're gonna do figures, it's gonna be the adult collectible stuff, and we're doing digital shit. Like, that's where their mindset is going. Obviously, still there's plenty of Hasbro toy kid shit, and will be for the next few years, but we're talking about shit that's down the road. Because again, man, normally we wouldn't know about any of this shit if it wasn't for the internet and social media and all that stuff. We wouldn't know about any of this. We wouldn't find out until the last minute. And that's why G.I. Joe has always been so abruptly ended to us. Because by the time we find out, it's already a wrap, and it just ends immediately abruptly. And you're like, what the fuck? I didn't see that coming. Everybody else did, you know, people in the inside. But then you add, you know, Hasbro leaving Pawtucket after about a century, moving to Boston. Suddenly everything is feeling more symbolic, and your collectors, your longtime fans, are feeling more that the company is literally distancing itself from its old identity. And honestly, that's why a lot of people are uneasy right now. Not because action figures are disappearing tomorrow, but because it feels like we're watching the end of this sort of great toy era that sort of happened in real time. And you know, the same way older generations watched Kenner disappear and ToyBiz transform and Toys R Us collapse. And
Yeah.
the hobby isn't dying, though, you know, but the version of it that people grew up with, that may, you know, already be fading away.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
End of eras, man. End of eras.
end of an era. Yeah, that's why a lot of collectors are looking at these smaller companies, these you know, Boss Fight Studios and Four Horsemen's and, you know, Savage Crucible and, you know, the Legion lines and all that stuff, because those are the companies that care. Bobby Valaverse and all that. Those are the companies that care about us and are providing stuff for us and keeping us in mind. This is definitely, I think, a sign that Hasbro doesn't anymore. That's why a Lenny and a Tony would leave.
Yeah,
because they're not getting the creative freedom anymore, because they realize the company just doesn't care anymore, and they're going to go somewhere where they can do it.
Yeah.
Maybe, like I said, licensing things out would improve creativity, but on the other side, consistency disappears. That's the fear there, because like when I know Hasbro has G.I. Joe and they have classified, I'm sure that consistently I'm going to get X amount of characters. I know this, they're going to do these guys eventually, like, and I know they're going to keep going. Like, I feel like it's there to stay kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it's a smaller company, some fly by night thing that possibly, or some lesser company that doesn't have the foundation of a Hasbro, you can be easily, you know, and it happens all the time where they start a line and they don't get all the characters out and then the line dies. You know, Hiya Toys right now is going, but it's going very slowly, right? Because corporate cutting costs slow, you know, that slows everything down, and the corporate machine and all that helps shit churn out at a certain time, so you can be more confident that things are going to come. Because if you're in the indie toy space, if you collect these indie figures, you know that you wait months and months and months for the next figure to come out, and like, you know, it takes a long ass time, and then it takes a while for them to ship, and it's like it's a different hobby, because being able to depend on Hasbro doing drops every so and so, and like we know every month certain amount of figures are going to probably come out and stuff like that. You don't get that with the indie toy lines and stuff, at least not now. So, but you know, hopefully the action figure game moves so much to the indie realm that the indie companies get bigger and have more capabilities, like a big Hasbro type joint. If G.I. Joe line stops, I'm okay. This means more money for Vala, watches, and cars. Yeah, for you. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people would be saving a lot of money because that's another thing about consistency, right?
Yeah.
That paycheck.
The worst dream I have about all this scenario stuff, it's, if you guys ever seen the movie Equilibrium with Tay Diggs and what's his name that played Batman?
Christian
Bale. That's what it seems like we're moving towards, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't want you to feel, they don't want creativity, they just want you to be, do as we say, 1984.
Mindless robot.
Yeah. So, you know, they want to destroy everything that's creative, man, and it's sad. You know. So once we get to that point where everybody's wearing black and gray and there's no toys, you can look for me to act up.
Hopping out.
I will lead the revolution. That's how I go down.
Yep. Well, it is what it is, guys. That's hitting our 2-hour mark. That is our show. But again, man, Hasbro, this could be the end of the classic Hasbro, the company that dominated the toy aisles for decades. May not disappear completely. It absolutely feels like it's transforming into something else, and that collectors are sitting here watching all the signs pile up in real time, trying to figure out whether they're witnessing the smart business evolution or the slow death of one of the greatest action figure eras of all time.
Yeah.
And with that, guys, we are Sixth Element of Hip Hop. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So have a great rest of your weekend. After the show, head over to Casual Toy Collector. 10 o'clock, we start the after party. We get over there, kick it, have a blast, talk about toys and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. We'll see you guys Wednesday, man.
In chat that gave out great questions and different viewpoints. We always love that. Thank you very much.
Everybody. Yes,
Everybody.
sir. Yes, sir. Master Great, Wookie, JV, J Combs, Tristan T, Ashtray Blue, Pot Passion 45. What up? Bobby World 2311. Who else? Raw Talk. Yeah, man. Everybody. I don't want to miss nobody. Peace to everybody that came through. We really appreciate the support. Absolutely. And hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you like. Joe Prime, what up? Corey Adler, salute one more time. Who else? Trying to wrap it up. Casual Toy Collector, go over to his channel in a little bit.
Yes,
peace
sir.
to NWO Hollywood. Word. Who else? I think that's it. If I missed anybody, man, my bad. Shout out to Crimson.
Even the silent ninja viewers.
Word, and definitely shout out to y'all that didn't chat, man. We really appreciate you too, man. Go ahead and leave a comment or whatever. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. That's everybody. All right, y'all. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We appreciate y'all, man. Have a good rest of your night. Don't forget what we always tell you. Oh man, where's my thing at?
Oh.
You know what I gotta do? Hang on, let me fix this shit. Hang on. No, I gotta fix this.
Where's Master Lee? Hold on. We can't leave without Master Lee's word. Come on. We have to do it. What's going down? Oh no. You guys are stuck with me for a second.
I got it. Nah, man. I had to hit. All right, man, because we can't end it without our outro, man. And my joint was peace, y'all. Don't forget we
be water, my friend.